Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today as we go through Stack Overflow for Teams. My name is Joy Liuzzo. I'm the head of product marketing here at Stack Overflow, and I'll be taking you through a few slides here that explain Stack Overflow for Teams, and then I'll take you through the demo. Stack Overflow for Teams solves four main challenges for companies: collaboration, productivity, reskilling and upskilling, and challenges caused by rapid growth or adapting to a hybrid work environment. Dr. Lieb's engineering department is split between Berlin and Paris, and they have a headcount of more than 300 developers and tech workers, and the company knew it needed to find a way to share knowledge effectively across the two offices. Now, with Stack Overflow for Teams, team members collaborate on questions and answers to synthesize the different viewpoints into the strongest answers for each other. What was traditionally a slow and compartmentalized process around documentation is now transformed into a natural extension of the daily conversation and collaboration that's happening across the teams. Their knowledge reuse is 14 times a day, about 400 times a month. For an example of where Stack Overflow for Teams solve productivity challenges, we look at Expensify. Expensify empowers their teams to work on any project. And as part of that, giving them access to subject matter experts and collective knowledge is vital. Employees now don't have to wait for a particular subject matter expert on the other side of the globe to wake up so they can ask a question. That person has already provided the information and the knowledge in Stack Overflow for Teams. Expensify's knowledge reuse has increased significantly since they brought in Stack Overflow for Teams back in 2018. In the early days, knowledge was being reused about 20 times a day. Now it's up to 97 times a day, about 2,900 times a month. On the topic of reskilling or upskilling challenges, we look to Intuit. Intuit wanted to expand and improve adoption of open source and inner source principles across their engineering teams. So they took a phased approach to introducing Stack Overflow for Teams to its 5,000 engineers. They took time to be thoughtful about the product's use, piloting with small groups of users, and seeding relevant questions. And by the summer of 2020, Stack Overflow had rolled out to the full 5,000-person technical community at Intuit. The community has contributed over 7,000 questions and is adding more than 100 questions and answers per month. And they're seeing knowledge reused almost 120 times a day. That's 3,600 times a month. Finally, looking at rapid growth and hybrid work challenges, we look to WiseTech Global. For WiseTech Global, it's a fast-growing company, and similar to many of us, the pandemic also forced them to adopt remote work. This adoption of remote work highlighted some key metrics around the importance of having Stack Overflow for Teams. They talk about how usage massively increased when everyone started working from home, but how the knowledge reuse continues to go up. Today, WiseTech users are able to reuse knowledge from Stack Overflow for Teams about an average of 65 times a day. That's 2,000 times a month. And you start thinking about this, that's 2,000 times they're reusing existing solutions. That's 2,000 times they're reusing conversations that used to happen in a one-to-one basis. That's 2,000 times they're reusing learnings and distributing knowledge across the team, all of which supports efficient, productive, and future-proof teams. During today's demo, we'll look at how we've evolved how people capture, share, and discover knowledge, and we'll focus on the flexibility and the intuitive organization within the system and how it actively brings knowledge to the user. We'll look at the platform's foundation of transparency and discoverability and show how asynchronous collaboration can happen effortlessly between individuals and across teams. You'll see why this makes it an inclusive platform where everyone can contribute and benefit from day one. We'll start with how we capture the knowledge. This is the familiar Q&A format that we have on our public site. You'll see as I start typing in questions that similar questions are being put in front of me. This helps avoid duplicates, and it also surfaces information that people may not know about. For the purposes of the demo, I just went to a website and I grabbed some information on a VPN there, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and paste it in here so you can see. So you can see all I did was take information here that was on a website, copied it, and pasted in here to show you the WYSIWYG and how simple it is. You can see it can also take in images without a problem and has that consistent formatting. But people can also just type in, either using the simple text entry, or if they're more comfortable with Markdown, they can use that as well. Tags organize the content and can be created by anyone on the fly. This is the organic organizational structure that the system has. Rather than thinking of hierarchies or the pages or a folder structure, tags are the organic way to organize based on topics. And here we can have up to 5 tags on this. So we can talk about VPN, we can even add remote work as part of that, or home office. We give users the ability to tag other people or groups of people that they want to answer the question. In this case, we can either tag an individual or a group of individuals. Then we go ahead and post the question. Here you'll see that since I created some new tags, it's asking me if I'm sure I want to create those tags. All I do is click yes, I'm sure, and we're set. We've also brought in long form content that we call articles. Articles are that Goldilocks length of knowledge. Not small, but also not full-size documentation either. We've also introduced new feedback features, upvotes to indicate value, and a private feedback option for users to make suggestions or ask for clarifications. We focused on these 2 feedback mechanisms because we learned that people don't like downvoting their colleagues. They'd rather offer them constructive feedback or suggestions to help them improve what they've put into the platform. You'll also see that we can add articles or questions into collections. Collections are the ability to group content together in very focused themes or topics. So in this case, we've got a design process collection that has 2 knowledge articles in it. We see clients using collections for things like providing more structured onboarding materials. As I mentioned, the organization of knowledge is intuitive, and it's based on that user-defined tagging structure, something that folks are already familiar with. All knowledge is transparent to users. They can see all the questions and articles in the platform from day one. You've heard me talk about knowledge sharing, and I use that term very deliberately. Sharing knowledge means that the platform is built to make it easy for people to find and discover what they need. Our search functionality gives users the ability to search within their private team, and by a simple drop-down, search the public Stack Overflow site as well. We'll look at GitHub and PowerShell and see what we can find. And you can see here that the results that come in are both from our internal team as well as public Stack Overflow. We often get the question, why can't we just use Slack to search? All the conversations are happening there anyway. Slack is purpose-built for synchronous communication. That's its purpose, is to connect people while they're working. What it isn't meant to do is be a place to store knowledge. So we've got a couple of examples here for you to show you what we mean. So if somebody were to search vacation policy in Slack, it would pick up all the messages that contain vacation or policy, all the files that were shared with that, show you the people and all the different channels here. So parsing through what exactly is the information you need from Slack just on a simple question of vacation policy is overwhelming. Are we really going to go through those 1,600 messages? And if we did, how long is it going to take us to parse through that to find what we need? On the other hand, searching within Stack Overflow for teams for the same thing. What is our vacation policy? Because the tags organize the content, remember that organic tagging structure that helps organize and categorize the content, what ends up happening is people can quickly parse through and see which questions and answers are most relevant to what they're really looking for. Again, streamlining the ability to find and discover information. We bring knowledge to the user. They can follow the tags they're interested in and receive alerts as how often they want to see information. They can also receive alerts via email or in our chat ops integrations right within the system whenever new questions or answers are posted. We can also alert groups of users at one time, like I mentioned, by setting up these user groups. Then this group can be alerted when new questions are asked with their specific tags. We gamify aspects of the platform to maintain engagement. We have custom awards that can be given out to encourage participation and recognize employees. And we have a dashboard where admins can see leaderboards of the most active users. We share this leaderboard in a weekly company-wide email, and that's actually increased our participation rate by 50%. Asynchronous collaboration happens organically in the platform. Here, we have 7 different teams all collaborating and sharing in one space. And as I scroll down, not only can you see report information is being shared, the TLDR information is being shared, but you can also see that the collaboration is happening across days. We have things from November all the way through March that is happening. So people are sharing knowledge with each other asynchronously, continually over time. And this async collaboration can extend even after somebody's left the company because the knowledge isn't lost. The remaining teammates can continue to use it as a resource and build on it. It's also the place for people to share their insights or their perspectives and findings, and people can keep adding to those over time as they have new ideas or information. We're reducing distractions and context switching. We've built integrations with chat ops to make it easier to ask and answer questions straight from the tool. It also makes it easy to seed the platform with common questions, simply as people are going rather than trying to force a process. While Stack Overflow is tailored for developers and technologists, we designed Stack Overflow for teams to be inclusive of everyone in the company. It's not just technical content that's bringing value, it's things that can be useful for long-term knowledge. In addition to the system settings to encourage adoption and engagement, we have a customer success team that is trained in enabling rapid platform adoption. And the 3 key factors that they focus on are change management, your community growth, and the community health measurement. Knowledge reuse is the critical metric of the platform. Again, this is measuring people who come to Stack Overflow for Teams but don't ask a question. In this case, you can see how knowledge reuse grows over time, and you see those seasonal dips in productivity around the winter holidays and summer holidays. That's the end of the demo, but I wanted to leave you with a few more things. With all the tools available to developers and technologists, why are we still facing a problem with siloed knowledge and an over-reliance on synchronous collaboration? I think this is in part because the market has often identified tactical problems and offered tactical solutions, when really there are larger strategic questions about how to share knowledge and how to collaborate effectively and efficiently. Siloed knowledge doesn't just need to be centralized, because more than that is needed to facilitate real sharing at scale and to facilitate collaboration across the organization. We think of the market on an axis of knowledge reusability and collaboration. I'll stop here and clarify what I mean by collaboration. I'm not speaking about social networking or having employees be able to talk to one another. I'm talking about teammates working together to produce or create something. On this matrix, we'll start in the lower left quadrant. Here you have your low reusability and collaboration tools that are about tactical employee experience or project management. In the upper left, you have your high reusability but low collaboration tools for code repositories, intranets, or wikis. In the lower right, you have your low reusability and high collaboration tools from your meeting or chat ops tools. And in the upper right, you have the only platform that combines high reusability and high collaboration, Stack Overflow for Teams. If you'd like to learn more about how other companies have seen success using Stack Overflow for Teams, you can read about them in this book. We've collected 12 of our client stories in one location for you. In this collection of case studies, you can read how Microsoft, Box, Expensify, and Doctolib were able to bring in Stack Overflow for Teams and see how Stack Overflow for Teams became the backbone of their organization. Thank you for the time today. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.